And he says, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Isn't that right? Yeah. Now get that. And then after that, he says, he makes a table for me in the midst of my enemies. Now, there's a whole lot to that. There's some cool stuff about that. Number one, sometimes you got to walk through the valley of the shadow of death to get to the table that's been spread out for you, right? In the middle of all your enemies. Now, get this. See, God knew what he was doing whenever he spoke this through David. Because what does that mean? That means David said, listen, I'm going to sit down at the table that has all this good stuff, and I'm going to eat. Now, here's the thing. He said, and my enemies are going to surround me, and I'm still going to be able to eat. When your enemies are surrounding you, okay, it is a physiological fact. When your enemies surround you, you lose your appetite. Yes, sir. You can't eat. Why? Because you're focused on the problem. Right. And because of that, now the enemies surround you, and you lose your appetite. Why? Because your body is gearing up, fight or flight. And when your body gears up, people say, oh, I got butterflies, I got this. And say, I must be afraid. No, that's not. Listen, it's what I used to have to tell my students when I was teaching martial arts, because we would spar pretty heavily at times. And many times they would say, well, but, when I've gotten in fights before, I feel that the butterflies and I'm just scared. And I said, stop. That is not fear. I said, that is a physiological response of your body gearing up for the fight you're fixing to be in. I said, what that means is your body starts to cause all the blood to center in your belly, and it'll drain out of your limbs. Why? So if you get cut, you won't bleed to death. That's why your body does that. Your body gears up, and it all goes to the center. If you go into freezing water, it will draw the blood from your limbs and put it all in right where your primary organs are to keep those organs alive. You may lose fingers because of hypothermia, but you won't lose your life because the blood goes to the organs and keeps you alive. So what you're feeling is not fear. What you're feeling is your body is responding to the situation. So whenever you can sit in the middle of all your enemies and still eat, you know what that means? That means you are so not worried about it that no blood has drained out of anywhere else to go into your belly. It means why? Because you know that the one that made the table is with you at the table. Amen? And I don't care what you're going through. It does not matter because he is with you. And let me tell you, you're not going through anything that somebody else hadn't already gone through. The difference is, are you going to go through or are you going to park in the middle of it? Right? Had a preacher one time that I'll never forget, a sermon I've never forgotten. He said very clearly, he said, what? And he was one of those great running, shouting preachers, You sit close enough to the front, you get holy water on you. You know what I'm talking about? And I remember he was a lot like T.D. Jakes, very similar to T.D. Jakes. But it's so funny because he would walk over to the side and he goes, what in hell do you want? And we're all like, what did he just say? He said, I don't believe you heard me. I said, what in hell do you want? That you are trying so hard to get there to get it. And we're all like, oh, that's good. Yeah, okay. Make a note, And then, of course, the next thing to that is when you're going through hell, don't stop. Go on through. Don't park. Amen. Listen, a pity party is when you park in the middle of hell. See, you can't have a pity party while you're walking through. Amen. Does this make sense?